like and subscribe to the channel. And maybe I'll try to call the exorcist. Sex workers of Reddit, have any of you ever have a close friend or anyone you normally interact with daily be a surprise customer? What was the experience like, and how did it affect your interactions with them? My much younger brother was getting married, had a bachelor party at a strip club with a dozen or so high school friends. After about an hour there, a rather ordinary looking stripper comes on stage, takes off her top and our tables of guys goes wild, standing and applauding and hollering. I have no idea what is going on. The stripper looks through the stage lights, her eyes get really big, she grabs her top and runs off stage to the back. Bouncers come running over to our table, thinking we are starting trouble. Nope, it turns out all of the guys in his high school class had a history class with her a few years back. She later came out and talked with us, said she never thought she'd see someone, let alone 12, she knew. It was in the next town over. When I was a cam girl I would have many guys message me saying they were my cousin or something. They were not, just trying to play out a fetish and I wasn't into it. So then one day a guy, in the main chat, said that he knew me, and his name was Aj, fake name. I was like, yeah right, I've only ever known one Aj, if it's true what's my name? And sure enough he put my real first name right there in the chat. We were in youth group in church together almost a decade before that. He became a regular. That happened with me and my estranged older half brother once, when I was camming. I messaged him on Facebook to confirm, and we had a good laugh about it. Last semester I ran a massage service, and I had this one client I particularly liked, because he was so friendly, positive, and just smart as fuck. I never asked my clients for their last names or too much about what they did for work, and the only thing I really knew about this guy was that he was in a STEM field. Well, fast forward to one existential crisis and a college major change later, and this semester I have to take chemistry. Lo and behold, that really smart client is now my professor. Neither of us is currently acknowledging it, but I can tell that we still feel that bit of connection we did when he would come see me for massages. It was massage, regardless of whether I'm a licensed professional. Giving someone a HJ after working out their pain, tension, knots, etc. for an hour doesn't mean you didn't massage them. I sympathize for those who are victims of sexual assault and harassment. I faced the same sort of things with my business, and that's never okay, but massage therapy is, and probably always will be associated with sex work, and people who engage in either endeavor should be aware of the risks involved. The people who conduct sexual assault against other people are responsible, not me or anyone else who does sex work. I'm not going to call my service just a hand job service, or whatever else people want me to say, because a massage service is the most accurate phrasing for the operation I was running. I did not at any time claim to be a licensed professional, and I was always honest with clients about it. Yes, I'm aware that it's illegal. Also, for the sake of massage therapists, please, do not assume they are sex workers. Is this like massages with happy endings? Sorry if this is obvious. Not a sex worker, but delivered a pizza to an own sex worker, and at the same moment I was about to knock on the door, a relative opens the door and watches me holding the pizza up to him. I couldn't do anything but laugh. He laughed too, maybe out of embarrassment, and as soon as the sex worker understood what was going on she also started laughing. Never mentioned this moment to anyone who knows my relative. And he is grateful for that to this day. You gave him pizza and kept his secret. You're a unicorn. In the mid-90s my friends took me to a strip club for my bachelor party. A few cocktails and a few stage shows in, and out walks an ex-girlfriend of mine. She was stunningly beautiful, but bad crap crazy. My friends desperately tried to get her to give me a lap dance offering her 5x the normal rate, but she refused. She said it would be too much of an emotional strain for her considering how intense our relationship was and ended. She ended up sitting with us between her floor shows and lap dances just chatting. She had gotten actually married and this was a way for her and her husband to save for a house. About halfway through the evening, one of the other dancers grabbed me and pulled me up on stage, whispered into my ear, "Are you wearing underwear?" which I affirmed. She pulled my pants down, sat me on a chair mid-stage, and another girl loosely tied my hands behind my back. Each girl took turns giving me a lap dance up on the stage. Turns out my ex paid them all for a lap dance and arranged the entire thing. Funny end to the story. After that event, I was at work on the sales floor of a local big box retail chain working, and in walks my ex. We chatted and half a good laugh. My lunch came, and I went out into the mall towards the food court, and my ex comes up besides me with a bit of a panicked look in her eye. She slides her arm under mine and leans in and kisses me on the cheek, saying, "Let's go get that hot dog now." Befuddled, I walk with her towards the food court, and she proceeds to tell me one of her regulars was in the mall and he was stalking her. She told him she was married and he didn't believe her, so I got to play the part of her husband. I walked her out to her car after the hot dog and a leisurely chat to make sure she was safe, and never heard from her again. She knew she could trust you to keep her safe, and pretty good way to say goodbye. There was a girl I went to high school with who was basically a walking stereotype. She fit so well into the archetypal ditzy blonde mold that you might swear it was an act if you didn't know better. She was also fucking mean. This girl was a power bitch and wasn't really nice to anybody as far as I'm able to remember. People orbited her because she was hot and had everything. She never really bothered me because I did my best to be invisible, but the handful of interactions I ever had with her left me feeling unpleasant. Turns out she wound up being a pretty lucrative stripper later in life. I bought a lap dance from her, and while being nice is part of the job, it really did feel like in those brief few minutes that she did have a genuine personality shift. She was way more laid back, you could even hear it in her voice. She even commented about how she wasn't a bitch like I used to be, and I have nicer tits. It was a genuinely fun interaction. She seemed happier in comparison to the person I remembered. Maybe she had bad parents and was being controlling with her peers as a coping mechanism. It's funny that you mentioned that, because the only thing I know about them was watching a brief exchange at a parent-teacher night. I don't know about her dad, but her mom was basically a human Barbie doll and fit the textbook definition of airhead. It actually seemed as though she was a bit embarrassed, but they were almost identical in both looks and behavior. This was all based on one period of observation though. I had a friend who is a lifestyle dom. For those unfamiliar with BDSM lingo, a female dominant, not professionally, just personally for fun. She is into a lot of freaky stuff, but working in the public, she is very secretive about her identity. No pictures of herself online, and very cautious before meeting anyone. Well, she has had guys message her asking her for some pretty nasty stuff, like bottling her piss and selling it to them, or even making a shit sandwich on one occasion. Yes, an actual shit sandwich. Well, the fucked up part is, she messages with these guys, and they, without her asking, reveal all sorts of personal details about themselves, like where they live or work, and they would send her photos of themselves. On more than one occasion she has run into one of them at work, and they had no idea it was her. She recognized them and think to herself, this guy that begged me to make him lick his own cum off my feet, and he has no idea who the fuck I am. It would just make her feel even more powerful. Although she remained perfectly professional in their interactions, but may have acted a little bitchier than she normally would because she knew they liked it. Edit, for the record, she never did / sold any of these things. They were just requested by people she was chatting with. She is not comfortable with these things, like the shit sandwich, but it doesn't stop people from making these requests. Disgusting. I hate processed food. Yeah, I hope that shit was at least organic. Making a shit sandwich on one occasion. Disgusting. I hate processed food. Yeah, I hope that shit was at least organic. Hey, sorry Maddie, I didn't get those reports done like you asked. See, I had this thing. You've been such a naughty boy, Gerald. You're such a disappointment to me. Slaps him on the cock with a ruler. Thank you for watching. like and subscribe to the channel. And in the next video, I will dwell in the demon.